So I wanted to take a few minutes and walk through how to navigate our course on Canvas. When you enter the course, you'll see this wonderful pink photo of one of John Stezeker's collages. Really great collage artist. Highly encourage you to look up his work. And you're going to click on our course site just like what you would do with any of your other faculty. So I'm going to go into student view here so I can see what you're seeing. And the first thing I want to point out is that this homepage is going to have essentially your weekly schedule up and posted uh, the week that that content begins. And you can see right now we have our content for week 1, January 19th, which is the first day of class, and then week 2, January 26th, which is next week. But I absolutely encourage you to stay within the week that we're on instead of trying to work ahead too much. But if you're like me, you might like knowing kind of what's coming up next. So if you do want to look ahead to the expectations for the next week, I encourage you to take a peek, but not necessarily start working in on all the content because I'll be posting the links and integrating them into the next week prior to that day, but they won't necessarily be 100% updated beyond what you can see on the schedule in your syllabus. So I've also included week 0, which will include this video on how to navigate our site on Canvas, how to access your Google Drive folder, how to update your Canvas profile, and a link here to learn a little bit about my artistic work. And so these resources are for you to access at any time, but especially, updating your Canvas profile, given that you're taking probably most, if not all, of your classes online, it's a good idea to put in a profile photo, a bio, a little bit about you, and maybe some of the projects and work that you're doing right now. So the next thing I'm going to direct you towards is the checklist part of each of our weekly content. So you'll notice I've posted a checklist that you can click on, and it is itemized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., for all of the things that I'd like to get done in our roadmap for any given class. And for many of our meetings, if not all of our meetings, we'll be having a virtual meeting at 9 a.m. Central Time, and that will take place in Microsoft Teams. And I'll email you beforehand to remind you, but obviously class starts at 8 a.m. So if you want to look through the content the Sunday night before class, or you like getting up early, getting your coffee and looking through the plan, I encourage you to do that. Read through the content that I've posted so that when we meet at 9, I can answer any questions that you have about our weekly plans. You'll also notice in all of our checklists that I've integrated all of these links for you. And these links are designed for you to be able to click them and actually take action on that item. For example, assigning our first project this week, the 1 in 20 project, if I click that link, it shoots me out to exactly what that assignment is, the due date, the proposal, exactly what I would be handing out to you if we were meeting in person about how to do this assignment. And it's really important that you read critically and carefully through each assignment, especially these major projects that I've posted. Now, we're going to come back around to assignments because there's another way to access those and find them, and of course for you to submit them when you're ready. But I want to just make sure that you're aware of this checklist, and this should be the first thing that you go to or you look for the Sunday night before class, or at 8 a.m., 8:30, the morning of class, prior to our meeting, so you know what's on the table. I have our syllabus uploaded here as well. You can read through that if you haven't already. It is a bit updated from the version that I sent you guys a week ago. So definitely take a look at our core syllabus, our objectives. I'll be walking through some of those expectations in our weekly meetings as well. Modules, we looked at that as well. So that's, essentially where you're going to find your checklist. And then if you do have a major project or an assignment that's being assigned or due, I'll always post a link to that within that module as well. For example, this week, I would love for you guys to read through the 1 in 20 project and also start brainstorming your own idea for this project. So we have how to write your project proposal for the 1 in 20 project listed right here as well. I'm going to go back one level here. And then I'd also like you on week 1 to take the student survey, and that is a direct link here. If I click on that, and that'll shoot you out to the student survey. It's also included on the checklist, but I just want to emphasize that I've included it as its own page and its own link as well. Next, if you walk over to assignments, these should all be in order of due date. And if you are wondering what those project requirements are and you're wondering how to submit them, if I click on the project proposal, for example, I can read through the instructions again. All of them are online. With many of these, for example, with the project proposals, you can copy and paste this into your own document in Microsoft Word or a Google Doc and fill out the answers. And then when you're ready to submit the project, you hit Submit Assignment, and then that guides you to where you can turn it in, just like in any other class. Now, one thing I want to note on assignments, especially visual assignments, is we're going to do something that might feel a little bit redundant, but I think ultimately it's going to be super helpful for us to be able to access and view each other's work when we do get to our full class critiques. And that is, not only are you going to be submitting your assignments, your visual work to Canvas, because that gives it the timestamp, that lets me know you've turned it in, and that's where I'll be leaving you feedback on that assignment. But you'll also be turning in each of your assignments to Google Drive, and I have a whole document that's posted on our in our module for week 0 on how to access that Google Drive folder. And the reason I want you to have that in Google Drive, there's really 2 reasons. The first is you can see all of your visual work together in one place, and I can too. And the second reason is you'll be sharing a link to each project from your Google Drive folder each time we have a class critique or discussion on our discussion forums. So moving down to discussions on that note, I haven't opened any discussions yet, but each of our discussions will be for whenever we're ready for a class critique on a major project, like the upcoming 1 in 20 project, the imaginary landscape project, etc. And I'm going to leave the student view just so that I can give you a sneak peek into what this might look like. When it is time for the critique for a major visual project, I will open the discussion forum 24 hours prior to our official critique day and project date so that you can post your work and share your paragraph about your work in advance. And then there'll be specific instructions on how to interact with that discussion forum and how to post and write about your work and what to talk about in your critique for that specific project posted in the discussion forum description. So once you see that, you'll need to make a post, and then you'll also need to engage with posts by each of your peers. So I'm going to go back to our modules here and go back into student view. The last piece to take a look at is grades. I will be doing all of the grading in Canvas, so you'll be able to see it at any given time. As things are graded, you're going to see the weighted breakdown of everything that's on here. So we have discussion forum participation weighted at 25% of your grade. Technical exercises are weighted at 15%. Major projects are the bulk of it. Those are 40% of your grade. There's 10 of them, so each of those major projects is 10% of your grade each. And then you have your written work like project proposals, self-assessments, and artist talk reaction papers. And then you'll be able to see, what you've submitted and how you performed on that. The good news is at the end of the semester together, we'll be able to submit revisions, talk about that, and that'll be a big part of our experience going into finals once we get to May. So I hope that this walkthrough is helpful for you guys, and I hope you can reach out if you have any questions on how to navigate our course site on Canvas.